Hi everyone, this is Brian Hayes and welcome to Volume 2 in our series on overtone basics for the saxophone. If you haven't already checked out Volume 1 in this series, please do, because I'm not going to go over those concepts again here in today's tutorial. Today we're going to focus on the second note in the harmonic series, and that note is a major 12th above the foundation tone on the saxophone. Now let's switch to the clarinet family just for a moment, and I want to explain this key here on the clarinet. This is not an octave key. On all of the clarinets, this is called a register key. And by applying that key to any of the low note fingerings on the clarinet, the register key shifts the note up a major 12th. By that I mean if I play low B flat on the clarinet, this is a B flat clarinet, the same as a tenor sax or soprano sax in the saxophone family. If I play low B flat on the clarinet, apply the register key, have a listen what happens. Now that high note is mechanically produced on the clarinet, and it is F on the fifth line of the music stave. So the register key mechanically has shifted low B flat below the music stave to the fifth line F, just right up there on top of the music stave. That's called a major 12th, because if we think of the notes in a B flat scale, octave B flat is the 8th note of a major scale. So C would be 9, D would be 10, E flat would be 11, and F would be the 12th note in a B flat major scale compared to our foundation note, the lowest B flat we can hit. If we hop back to the saxophone now, and today I'm demonstrating again on the B flat soprano saxophone. I'm doing that because you can actually see my fingerings much easier on the webcam video than if I had the alto, tenor or baritone saxophone. But the same concept applies equally right across the saxophone family. Now from Volume 1 in this series, you should be able to now play a third line B flat using the low B flat fingering without the octave key. Today we're going to take that concept up to being able to play F on the fifth line of the music stave using the low B flat fingering. But first of all, I want you to do this exercise with me, and that is to simply hold B flat, the conventional fingering B flat, no octave key, just playing using the normal fingering for 4 beats, and then play the conventional F fingering with the octave key. So put your octave key on and play the standard F fingering for 4 beats. I'll use a metronome, 60 beats a minute. So this is just standard saxophone playing. After 4, play along with me. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're doing that on one breath. We're tonguing the 2 notes. We're not trying to slur them. We're just cleanly tonguing the B flat, cleanly tonguing the F. Now from the first tutorial, Volume 1, you should be able to produce the B flat tone using the low B flat fingering. And remember on the soprano sax, this is traditionally very sharp. So we have to try and pull the tuning back down with our embouchure. We're not so worried about tuning or tone in these exercises, particularly at this stage of your development. We're just looking for you to be able to understand the concept and experience the concept of playing multiple notes using the same fingering without the octave key on the saxophone. So now what we're going to try and do is produce those same 2 notes, but this time no octave key and using the low B flat fingering throughout. 1, 2. Now I can't stress enough that it's not about blowing harder. It's not about biting down on the mouthpiece. It's more about keeping the same flow of air, but hearing the that major 5th leap compared to the notes that we're playing. Yes, it's a major 12th compared to the low note fingering we're playing, But our exercise today is essentially a major fifth leap, in this case from B flat to F. And just as I sang that, da, that's the sort of minimal movement in your body that's required to play the overtone. Please don't blast the saxophone and don't think you've got to bite the mouthpiece to hit the higher note. You've got to basically let that overtone come out as in the same way as when we sing. We don't actually punch harder to sing a high note. Da, 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 da. I'm not forcing any more air out of my mouth to sing that F than I am for the B flat. And the real magic in the overtone is largely tongue level. Everything else stays the same, but largely it's controlled by your tongue. When you're comfortable in producing a B flat to an F using the low B flat fingering, the next step is to try and go up a semitone, and this time produce a B to an F sharp, again a major fifth leap, but using the low B fingering on your saxophone to produce both of those notes. So this is B on the third line to F sharp on the fifth line. First of all, play it standard fingerings on the saxophone. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Now you may need to do that many times over. You might want to repeat that 10 times so that your mind's ear is really clear on the interval that you're trying to produce. Once you're confident that you know exactly what you're trying to sound like, use the low B fingering on your saxophone. So every pad except the last pad, there's B flat. If you look at the end of the soprano, you'll see all the holes covered. This time, the last hole, the B flat, isn't covered, it's left open, and the one beside it is the low B. If you're not sure of the fingerings on the sax, I have a number of tutorials where I go through every possible note on the saxophone. So finger low B, but try to produce as overtones, third line B to fifth line F sharp. Try this with me using the low B fingering. 1, 2, 3. Now finally for today's tutorial, I recommend you try to go C, the third space C, to G above the stave, just above the stave, using the low C fingering on the saxophone. So this time we're playing low C, no octave key, but we're trying to produce third space C to G just above the music stave. Again, play it using the natural fingerings first, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now try it with me using the low C fingering, no octave key. 1, 2, 3. Now, for those of you who are playing the alto saxophone, the pitch of the notes will sound different because this is an E-flat instrument and the soprano sax is a B-flat instrument, but the exercise notes are exactly the same. That is, you're trying to play B-flat to F using the low B-flat fingering on the alto sax. So I'll just quickly go through these exercises for you so you can play along with me on the E-flat alto saxophone or the baritone saxophone. So 60 beats a minute. The first thing we do is we play using conventional fingering B flat to F. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Now this time we duplicate that but using the low B flat fingering, no octave key. We try to produce the same notes. Okay. 1, 2, 3. same for B to F sharp. Conventional fingerings. 1, 2, 3. Now using the low B fingering, no octave key, we produce those same tones, B and F sharp, as overtones. 1, 2, 3. And finally we move to the note C. So the leap will be C to G, third space C to G above the stave. Using conventional fingerings, 1, 2, 3. Finally, now using the low C fingering on the alto, no octave key, we reproduce those same tones but as overtones. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. That's where we'll leave this tutorial. Remember, today we've expanded our range using the Overtone series up to a major 12th from the fundamental low note fingerings. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and keep your eye out for future tutorials on overtones for saxophone. Bye for now.